Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Heela Omarkhail, and I'm Vice President of Social Impact at the Daniels Corporation. I'm so excited to be here this evening with so many members of our Daniels team and our community at the recently opened CSI Community Living Room right here in Daniels Spectrum to be making announcements about creativity and entrepreneurship, which are key pillars of this space and this building. And how wonderful that we can gather here in person today on the holy month of Ramadan and share an Iftar meal as a community after the announcements. Before we get to those announcements, on behalf of all of us at Daniels, I'd like to acknowledge the inherent relationship that Indigenous peoples have with the lands, water, and air, all as part of their sacred relationship with Mother Earth. As we work to build communities across the Greater Toronto Area, we acknowledge that these are treaty lands and part of the traditional territory of several Indigenous nations. For thousands of years, Toronto has been the traditional gathering place shared by many nations, including the treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit, the shared territory of the Neutrals, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Toronto is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples, and we are grateful for their contributions and the opportunity to live with and work with them in this territory we all call home. Daniels is delighted to be joined this evening by some of our amazing collaborators to share updates on special initiatives in our new mixed-use developments in Regent Park. We are dedicated to and really passionate about using our business as a platform for creating exciting opportunities in the arts and entrepreneurship that really focus on equity, diversity, and inclusion. For us, this commitment to use real estate development as a platform for positive social impact is at the heart of everything that we do. In that spirit, Daniels is announcing 3 new initiatives in Regent Park. Those initiatives, in collaboration with organizations and individuals doing great work across our city and across our country, will foster inclusive community spaces and really add to the vitality of this already incredibly vibrant neighborhood. First, we are thrilled to be collaborating with Black North Initiative to offer 3 new work-live spaces at our DuEast and Artworks Towers development right here in Regent Park. The work-live spaces are just that, artist-focused work studios on the ground floor and a residential living unit above with direct access to a condominium. The work studios are along the multi-award-winning living lane that will be complete in a few years, just as the Toronto Community Housing building known as Block 16 North is constructed. In addition to providing work and living space to Black identifying artists and artist groups, the work-live studios will add to the activity and animation along the living lane. This new initiative will provide 3 big opportunities for artists and creatives who often face systemic barriers to accessing housing, workspaces, and ultimately economic opportunities. It's a unique opportunity to develop their practice in a dedicated space. It provides space to showcase their work, and it facilitates engagement with the local community to build relationships. Through this initiative, Daniels is offering work-live studios at approximately 50% of market rate. The work-live initiative features a social impact exchange component where artists in the work-live spaces will dedicate some of their time and resources to the local community through engagement of programs, events, collaborations in the living laneway and beyond. Daniels and BNI will lead an application process to select the artist and artist groups for the 3 work-live units. BNI is a natural partner for Daniels. BNI challenges Canadian business leaders to do what they can to end anti-Black racism and create opportunities for Black, Indigenous, and people of color to thrive in our communities. I'm proud to say that Daniels is a signatory to the BNI pledge, and that's exactly what we're following through right here in Regent Park this evening. In fact, it was recently announced that BNI, Habitat for Humanity GTA, and the Dream Legacy Foundation have also launched a homeownership bridge program with funding support from the federal government to make the dream of homeownership a reality for more Black families. Daniels is proud to be working with BNI, the Dream Legacy Foundation, and our longtime partners at Habitat for Humanity GTA to make homes available for Black families through the Homeownership Bridge program, as well as today's Live Work announcement. I'd like to introduce Dahabo Ahmed Omar, Executive Director of Black North Initiative, to tell you more about BNI and our Live Work collaboration. Dahabo comes to the organization with an impressive background as a policy advisor and human rights advocate. Please join me in welcoming Dahabo.
First of all, I'm really happy that I don't have to mess with this mic, because normally I'm usually the tallest person in every room that I'm in, and therefore this mic I tend to mess it up. So Heela, thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to my fellow Somali and Muslim brothers and sisters that are in this room. I tend to recognize my people first, and so I saw a few people from my cultural background, and so I'm so happy to see all of you today. It's been an incredible journey for me and for the Black North Initiative in the last year and a half. I'll make a quick joke. There are people that I've been working with for 2 years, Heela and Mitchell and a few others, and I've never met them. And we recognized each other, and I saw Heela and I'm like, you're so tall. And so it's been a wonderful journey. You know, I think COVID-19 has really changed the way that we do things. I think we have been able to make the impossible possible. Daniels is very much an example of that. The work that we're doing at Black North, initially, when we first started, was how were we going to change the way that corporate Canada was functioning? How is corporate Canada supporting Black Canadians? What are we doing to uplift and empower and develop and create opportunities for people who look like me? And then they picked Dahabo to lead the organization. And so here I was thinking, what can we do? How am I going to get to the communities that are on the ground? Grassroots was really the opportunity for us to say to ourselves, we cannot do this work unless the communities that are on the ground, soldiers, the boots that are right there, that are living in these neighborhoods that are incredibly marginalized. If they don't feel our impact, then we're not doing the work. And so walking into Daniels Spectrum today and seeing communities that remind me of me made me really, really glad. And so I want to just thank Daniels Corp for their work, for their commitment to change, and for really being part of the solution. And so a good round of applause for the team at Daniels Corp first, please. Now, the other thing is, homeownership has been an incredible priority for us at Black North. We said to ourselves that the first basic need is housing, a place you can call home, a place where you can love where you live, a place that you can have integrity, dignity, a sense of belonging, a place when you get home, you feel good. And that was important to us. So this Work-Live program is especially important to me because I'm sort of like an undercover artist. People don't know this, but I'm a poet. I write everything I think of, everything I feel, everything I go through. And it's such a therapeutic process. It's a process that allows me to be myself at all times, a place where I don't need to hide, a place where I can just be Dahabo all the time. And so I never had an opportunity to be able to develop that. I hid it, actually. Didn't think I was good enough. Have this little blog that's out there, and if you find it, don't tell anyone. But it's out there, and there's like over 600 posts because I love writing. And so this project for us means the world because, you know, you can live and breathe your passion, a place where you feel like you're living the best life for yourself. It's 3 units now, but we're hoping to make some magic and be able to increase that. And so this Work-Live program for us means more than I can probably say in a few short words. But for those of you that will apply, please apply, first of all. A lot of times people don't apply because they think they won't get it. But I was listening to Les Brown, if anyone knows him, great public speaker and motivational speaker. And this morning, and he said, you know what, if you don't try, you never know. You'd rather fail and know that you failed than never try and potentially have succeeded. And so there's an opportunity here for all of you who are artists or undercover artists like me to take a chance at yourself and try. So please apply. Application process details will follow, but I want you to try because I think it's important that we get as many applicants as possible. It allows us to see the demand. It allows us to know that there's many of you out there that could benefit from an opportunity like this. And it would advocate for us to advocate for you. And so please apply. I'll take a quick second to make a plug because you mentioned the Homeownership Bridge program. The opportunity through the Black North Initiative Homeownership Bridge program in partnership with Habitat for Humanity and empowered by Dream Legacy Foundation is an opportunity for you to own your home. I'm literally going through the process right now of buying my own home. It's been 2 years in the making. I made the bid in 2020 December. It's been hectic because I didn't have the information. I don't have the cultural background and the generational wealth that very many other privileged communities do. So I had to really grind. And so it's the same, I know, for many communities who look like me. And so we've programmed now, an opportunity for you to own your own home and down payment covered through the Black North Initiative program and to be able to build generational wealth for yourself and for your families. And so you can find more information on that program through our website at blacknorth.ca. I'm gonna stay here for the rest of the evening. I am hungry. Who's hungry here? So for those of us that are fasting 16 hours a day, I commend you for honoring your faith and being amongst us tonight. And I can't wait to spend the evening with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dahabo, for your beautiful words. I can skip the next few lines about my remarks because it was about how we've only met over Zoom for 2 years. So pretty incredible to be here tonight. When our work-live units were just plans on paper, we had a conversation with Benny Bing, a contemporary Canadian artist already living in Regent Park, about the need for artist-focused work-live spaces. And so we're very pleased that Benny is the first artist to move into one of these units. In his artwork, Benny explores themes of identity, gender, and Blackness, as well as beauty, self-love, and humanity. How appropriate for the messages we're communicating today. Please join me in welcoming Benny.
Thank you, Heela. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. Actually, it's an honor to be here today as the inaugural artist in the Daniels Work-Live Spaces. I will begin with the journey of how it started. I first met Mitchell Cohen, the CEO of Daniels, right here in this very place at my first exhibit. 2016 was when it happened. And we began a wonderful, beautiful partnership. Daniels, through their art procurement program, have acquired a significant amount of my collection and have supported my career over the years. So when it was brought to my attention that they were working on work-live units for artists in Regent Park, and they would love for me to be part of the program, I jumped to it because there is a need for a creative space in our city. We're seeing artists being pushed out of the city due to the affordability to live in Toronto. Living in Toronto to find a place to live in Toronto is hard. For anybody, talk less of an artist. To find a place to create in Toronto is even harder. And as a Black artist, I can tell you firsthand the challenges that I have faced along the way in trying to build a thriving practice. So with this work-live units, this provides not only a solution, but this provides an opportunity, a very important opportunity to a creative community that sometimes feels neglected. And that's Black creatives in the city. There are a lot of us, and we're good, we're talented, and all we need is an opportunity. So this creates a wonderful opportunity for all Black artists out there, apply. Bring yourself forward. Put your work out there and apply to this, because this will change your life. Now, I'm a firm believer in arts transforming community. And one thing I love about Daniels as an organization is their understanding of their social responsibility, but at the same time, their commitment to that responsibility and the work that they continue to do right here in Regent Park. And currently, I've lived in the Work-Live studio since May. So I can tell you firsthand what the space has done. Not only have I created some of the best work in my career through that space, in addition to that, it has slowly transformed lives. And what I mean by that, I'll tell you a very interesting story. When I first moved in, I opened the studio and I was creating and painting. And so, if some of you know me, as you can see, AJ's here, they come by and people watch me paint. And 3 little boys, from 11 to about 13 or 12, walked by, heard the music, and stopped and said, "Yo, is this you?" And I said, "Yeah, this is me." "You painted all of this?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "This is your full-time job?" I was like, "Absolutely, this is what I do for a living." "You don't have any other hustle?" I was like, "No, this is what I do." And you could just see in his eyes, they were just lit open. And he said he loved to draw Avengers. And I said, ask your mother if she can give you permission to come to the studio and we can work together, right? This is how we transform communities, impacting one little child at a time. You see, they say that children feel empowered when they see other people that look like them succeed. If we have more Black creatives in the work-live units, showcasing their greatness to the community, impacting lives of children, we can change the dynamic of what's happening in our community. So as the inaugural artist, I'm happy to be there. Some of you might have seen me in the community. Some of you might know me. You can come by the studio and have a look at some of my work. But I really would love to see some really amazing, talented Black creatives apply for this. Because I've spoken to several. We've talked about situations like this. We've talked about being neglected. And when these opportunities arise, it's important that we grab it by the horns and we go for it. So with that being said, it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much for listening to me. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Benny, and we're thrilled to be working with you in the last 6 years now and taking our relationship really to the next level as we bring on more live artists who will be your neighbors and hopefully an opportunity for more mentorship and engagement in the community. I have to, when I arrived, I got some great feedback about my outfit, so I'm going to step aside for a second to showcase the sweater I am wearing this evening, which is a piece of work by Benny Bing in collaboration with Roots that has been released twice and sold out twice. So congratulations, Benny, on this incredible. Turn around, Sid. I'm also pleased to share that Benny will join Daniels and BNI in the selection process of the Black artists or artist groups applying for the work-live units in Regent Park. The call for artists will actually be posted on the Daniels and BNI websites this week, and the application will be open until May 20th, 2022. So a full sort of 5 weeks to get applications in. We look forward to selecting artists by early June, and then having the first artist move in later this year, and another 2 artists early next year. Our second announcement this evening is a collaboration with Kin Community Projects, a Toronto-based organization that provides creative artist studio and exhibition spaces and arts-based programming. Kin Studios envelope participants in a friendly and inspiring atmosphere where they can work on creative endeavors and entrepreneurial projects of all kinds. Like Daniel's, KinKin is committed to the ongoing work of equity and inclusion. Here in Regent Park, Daniel's is making approximately 2,800 square feet of ground floor commercial retail space available at special rates for KinKin, which will feature artist studios as well as exhibition and program space. It is my pleasure to introduce Yasmin Namat Allah and Aaron Candela of KinKin. Marketing specialist Yasmin is an Egyptian-Canadian artist, facilitator, and writer. Studio manager Aaron is an artist, arts administrator, and social catalyzer. Welcome, Yasmin and Aaron.
Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Kareem to all those who are celebrating. I hope this month gives you serenity and joy. We're really excited to be here. A little bit about KinKin. If you're not familiar with KinKin started off in 2008. And it was a bunch of artists that were very hungry for space in the city for them to create and for them to work. It's 13, almost 14 years later. And I feel like we're still trying to do the same things, and in some ways we're succeeding. And this initiative is really exciting for us because Regent Park has been a community I've been a part of for a while and a community that we want to come back to. And we're really excited when this space opens. It will be already housing 21 artists that have their spots. And people are excited and looking forward to not only find workspace to practice, to do what they love, to find the creativity in the things that they do, but to just be celebrated in the community that has fostered them. Aaron will tell you a little bit about the programming we have to offer, and we just want to say that we're very thankful to be invited here, and I'm just very excited to eat also, so there's that.
Thank you, Yasmin, and thanks, Heela, too, and everyone who's invited us here tonight, and thanks to the community who is welcoming KinKin here. I'm super grateful to be here to talk about programming, too, and I really want to encourage all the undercover poets and the undercover drawers and the writers and the song creators and people who are thinking about culture in many diverse ways, because one of the things that I think is pretty special in terms of my own personal experience and as an artist as well is the ability for artists to get together and create community amongst each other. Because artists are often working alone, there isn't this opportunity that's found to engage with community, to show people what you do, to have other artists comment, feedback, tell you, your work belongs in this gallery. Have you heard of them? They're gonna love it. Like all of the ways that KinKin does its programming is through community. So we're really excited to come and listen to what ideas you guys have about what you want, where you want to be showing your work, and how we can foster other relationships, because in some ways KinKin and any arts organization operates through community as a connector. And so hopefully we can work together negotiating that. Some of the ways that we do already program our spaces are through exhibitions, so encouraging artists to keep an eye open for the upcoming calls for submissions that will be happening, where we're looking for artists from the community. We also want to run show and tells. That's something we do where artists come. You don't have to be a member. You can come with your work and have a group of artists look at what you're doing, talk about it, share works in progress or things that are finished and get feedback. Other things that we like to provide or work towards is with community partners. So working with Ontario Arts Council to give a workshop on how to write a grant to get money for your exhibition. If you know already a place that you're going to exhibit and you need $2,000 to pay for your materials, there's a materials grant out there that's relatively easy to get. So, some of the professional development opportunities that other industries have, you might have an institution that's telling you, here's your group, here's your opportunities, and artists frequently run into these barriers where they don't have access to information. So part of our programming is just connecting you to the resources, connecting you to other artists, and then some of it's just fun, like let's get out, let's go for a walk along the river, find some mushrooms, look at graffiti, sit down and do some drawing about what's happening, and like talk to each other and have a meal together. So it's pretty basic, intuitive, like how do we work together to facilitate combined growth and to nourish this community, which, as we all know, is like facing a lot of pressure to kind of leave the city that's like a very wealthy oriented space. But, you know, we can band together and find ways that we support each other. And yeah, hopefully I just want to invite everybody to come seek us out. Akin.art is our website, but also just pop by when the studio is open, just drop in. And yeah, looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you so much, Yasmin and Aaron. We look forward to welcoming Akin back to the community. Akin's previous space was just north of River Street on Labatt, so it will be great to have them back in the neighborhood. And you'll have to look out for the Akin space on Dundas Street East, just at DuEast, to open later this year. So our third announcement of this evening involves the creation of the Daniels Entrepreneurship Hub at DuEast to provide affordable workspace for local entrepreneurs from Regent Park so that they can grow their businesses. The hub will be on the second floor office component of DuEast, where the World Urban Pavilion in Regent Park by UN Habitat will be officially opening just next week. The Daniels Entrepreneurship Hub is in direct response to community feedback we've heard about the needs, challenges, and opportunities faced by local entrepreneurs and businesses in Regent Park. The hub will feature office and desk spaces, as well as a shared meeting room, kitchen, and other amenities to help entrepreneurs nurture their businesses and strive to growth. We look forward to opening the hub later this year. At Daniels, we understand and take seriously the fact that developers play a key role in building sustainable, inclusive, mixed-use communities where people feel at home and feel welcome. Places where a sense of belonging is part of the lifestyle. From day one, this has been a critical focus for us here in Regent Park. DuEast Condominiums is an example. The collaborations announced today underscore Daniel's commitment to building communities that include the social, cultural, and economic infrastructures that empower people and neighborhoods to thrive. Thriving includes feeling safe. And we have here with us today Marwan Kogali Ali, Executive Director of InfiniGuard Security Protections, Inc. This security company operates as a social enterprise based in Regent Park. The firm offers free training and high-wage employment to at-risk youth, women, and new immigrants. We are so pleased to announce that InfiniGuard will be the very first business to call the Daniels Entrepreneurship Hub home. Please join me in welcoming Marwan.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and Ramadan Mubarak. Amazing seeing all the familiar faces in this place. Shamli, Clarence, Yassine is doing photography, that's my brother. Waleed, you have Ishmael, Marlene, Adonis, Mitch, Sugar, I can't forget about Sugar. Man, this is the hood right here, man. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I just want to start off by saying, I want to take a moment to remember the youth that are not here today due to gun violence, drugs, and mental health and suicide. I don't mean to deflate the energy in this room, but I just want to, take that moment to acknowledge, what we were before Daniels came here. I remember, we used to live on St. Bartholomew, and then we moved to back of the Bonos. And I remember when we moved to, our first townhouse in Oak, we were very hopeful as a low-income family. So the word that I'm going to use today in my speech is going to be hope. So the revitalization of Regent Park started in 2005 with the City of Toronto, along with Daniels, TCH, and community partners focused on rebuilding Regent Park for 12,500 residents over a 15 to 20 year period. This project entailed transforming what was once solely a social housing development into a self-sufficient, mixed-income, multi-use community. I mean, the resources exist around us. This building is an example alone. And I think, Heela, you should have added to my description, because I am also the director of project development and also acting executive director for Healing is One, a youth-led grassroots organization that does so much for this community. And we have capitalized on this space. We've used the Daniel Spectrum as an example. As a tenant, we've opened this space to, the community on a 24/7 basis, the only building in the whole community to do so. The other hat that I wear is of Infinity Guard, and it's a very interesting one. For those who don't know me, I have a wealth of experience when it comes to security. I've done security for prominent individuals like Idris Elba, Elma Stone, Halle Berry, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, even Barack Obama. Can you believe? When Barack Obama came here, he came here for a conference. When Barack Obama came here for a conference, I was part of that detail, security detail. And I also did some security in Mexico, some international work. And when I came back to Regent Park, I was very intentional about trying to, create an opportunity for the people that I serve here in the community. Regent Park is my family. I love Regent Park dearly. It shows in all the work that I do. And I remember not too long ago, it wasn't long ago. I was in a room with Heela, Fatima, Waleed, Ishmael, and Mitch. And we were there talking about Healing as One. And I think it was Yusuf that nudged me and talked to Heela about security. He's like, he also owns a security company. And Heela's eyes lit up. And he lit up because, once again, she's seen the opportunity. And to me, I was very hopeful. We started having conversations about the possible opportunity of using a local security social enterprise in Regent Park. Those conversations, from Heela, I had a lot of conversation with Fatima. And quickly, Daniels I started using the word Daniels so much around my mom. She was concerned because she's like, you're a young man, you should be married to a woman by now. So, yeah. So, things picked up. Fatima pretty much arranged for an opportunity where we did mobile security as of last year. And it's been 1 year, and we've contributed to over $100,000 in the youth of today. So I'm very excited. I mean, when it comes to space, when I started off, I was literally working off a storage unit out in Jane and Finch because they had the best rate. I was paying $100. I didn't have money. And quickly, when Fatima was able to offer this opportunity with a mobile security, I was able to upgrade, and I was able to get a storage unit here on Eastern for about $300 or so. And now they're announcing Entrepreneurship Hub for a small business and a Regent Park resident like me. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, I mean, the only message I have to say is, Regent Park, Daniels has done so much. I think, for somebody who's very passionate about the work that I do, you could have a dream, you could have a vision, you could put in all the work, but if there's no opportunity, there's no doors open. So Daniels has been my opportunity, has given me hope, has given this community hope. And all I can say is thank you. Thank you to Heela. Thank you to Fatima. Thank you to Mitch. Thank you to Andy, Sasha, I don't know if they're here, Nicole, Michael, John. These are the people that I know from Daniel. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marwan. We're also very excited, so many of us at Daniels that you just named, to be working with you and to watch Infinity Guard grow. I'll say that I'm hoping that this will be the first of many times that I get to introduce you. And I will note Healing as one in the next introductions. Next up, I'd like to welcome Councillor Kristin Wong-Tam to say a few words. Kristin. Please join me in welcoming Kristin.
Thank you so much, Heela. And I do also love this outfit. I'm sorry that it's actually had 2 runs and you've sold out. I think it's time for a 3rd run. It's so good to be here with all of you this evening, and certainly this is an evening of celebration for so many different reasons. It is not every day that you get to see an incredible company announce not just 1 initiative, 2 initiatives, but 3 initiatives. And I love the fact that they've threaded it all together. Like one of the great things about Daniels is the way that they're able to look at not just a space and not just the buildings, because all those are important, but they're also be able to look at the community and ask the community, what do you need? How do you want to work together? And what is it that we can do together to thrive? And so one of the fantastic things is I love the fact the program that's coming into the neighborhood, largely because of the visionary leadership of Daniels, to the Daniels team. I know that this is not necessarily easy work. I totally get that. Building a community is not easy, but building a community that's championing you to champion them makes a little bit lighter the work, right? So we cannot talk about Daniels as this sort of monolithic group, because we know that's not what the company is. It's also a company of great people. And leading this company of great people is a visionary city builder who I would say has no peer. And I know a lot of folks, but has no peer in the city on how deeply committed he is to this particular neighborhood. In particular, he loves the city, I get that. All the conversations is Mitch's is bunch of energy, endless energy. But he really deeply loves Regent Park. And I think Regent Park also deeply loves Mitch Cohen. Yeah. And of course, it's earned, right? Earned because of trust, the conversations. So many times Mitch is actually at the helm of all these announcements, really. But how many times does he actually take the microphone? No, it's not his style. He kind of lets the people speak. So to the incredible collaborators, I'm so proud of the work that you're doing, to the Black North Initiative, to the Akin Studio, to Infinigard and Healing as One. What extraordinary, fantastic, transformational work that you're doing. And it's all seated right here. And I know that you're not the only ones. I know that this is something that is magnifying in region, and it's actually going to be not just a leading city of Toronto example. That's great. But it's a regional example, it's a provincial example, it's a national example, and for what I can tell, it's going to become an international global example, all because of the gathering of the people, the buildings, and what you've done with the space. So making space is all about what Daniels does. Bringing people together is what Daniels does, and making darn good things happen is what Mitch and the Daniels team does. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I want to give you a big round of applause. I think you should all give yourselves a big round of applause. I know we're going to have dinner soon, and I want to say to those who are celebrating, Ramadan Mubarak, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kristin. It's been my pleasure, and I know for the whole Daniels team as well, to really work in Regent Park with such a spirit of collaboration. And so looking around the room today, that's very strong, and I'm feeling the energy up here, because the creation of arts and entrepreneurship spaces is not just about buildings. It's really, essential to advance learning, inclusion, and economic opportunity within this community. We recognize that this work, as Kristin said, takes lots of time and many hands, and we're proud to work closely with community groups, arts-based organizations, and institutions, and really residents of this incredible community who are so energized and motivated to advance these goals. A significant element of the announcements today has been about advancing equity and inclusion through the creation of new spaces and new collaborations. This has consistently been a priority for Daniels, and one that has been at the very forefront of our work internally and externally since the summer of 2020. In June 2020, a heinous hate crime took place on the Daniels DuEast construction site in Regent Park. Around the same time, similar hate crime incidents directly targeting the Black community were reported on the construction sites of other builders across the city. Daniels immediately condemned the harmful act of anti-Black racism and committed to ongoing action. Through community conversations, we identified art as an important tool for social justice. As a result, we commissioned a piece by a Black artist that will permanently be displayed in the public office lobby at DuEast Condominiums. The selected piece is entitled Victory Mountain by artist Sean Skier, who unfortunately couldn't be here with us this evening. This artwork honors the brave men and women who used the Underground Railroad, fought in the civil rights movement, and continue to advocate for the rights and freedoms of members of the African diaspora. If you haven't already had the chance to see Sean's piece at DuEast, I encourage you to walk just across the street there at 660 Dundas Street, where it can be seen among other works created by local artists. This evening's announcements have focused around our efforts to align our work as a developer, builder, and owner of commercial assets with a vision of building inclusive and resilient communities by working in collaboration with each of you. Our efforts, along with those of our community partners, the Black North Initiative, Akin Community Projects, Benny Bing, Marwan Kogali Ali, and Infinigard and Healing as One, are breaking down systemic barriers and creating opportunities that will help individuals and communities thrive. It is so wonderful to be celebrating these positive messages on the same evening as we share an iftar meal to be eaten after sunset during Ramadan. I'd like to welcome Soraya Ibrahim to the stage to bring you a special iftar message. Soraya. Soraya's prepping our delicious dinner. She's running right over. Please join me in welcoming Soraya.
It's too high. Hi, good evening. And they say they're calling your name. The food is here. I just want to say thank you for the amazing iftar that coming. It looks like a wedding. If you want to come and see, and if you need to pray, you're going to pray after we break our fast. And I want to say thank you for the Daniels. They know how to best build the community. I'm going to tell a little bit story, okay? About 11 years ago, we were doing our first community cleanup after phase 1. Guess who came to clean the community? Mitch Cohen. Like very humble. The people who are that status, forget about community cleanup. That's where, for me, you cannot win my heart easily. That when you win my heart, and I said, this is the humble person, you need to build a relationship. Like he stays behind and cleaning community with us. And I want to say thank you for continue to build the trust. And like, I was very sad, like you didn't continue phase 4 and 5. I'm just going to put that out. But still, you were there either way. He said, I will continue build the community. So you win my heart again. And I just want to say thank you. Fatima, Heela, I call them out when something is not working out. They accept. And I want to say thank you for continue to build, supporting us anytime when we need help and support in the community. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Please stay behind to break your fast. And we are doing this every Wednesdays, which is we have 2 more Wednesdays. Come break fast with us, and we were isolated for so long. It feels like a decade, but it was 2-3 years. We didn't have a gathering of iftar in the community iftar. So it feels so good coming back. And someone spoke about sense of belonging. This is how you create a space, environment, that sense of belonging. And someone said, people want to see people who look like you. That is what young person would want to see. And when they when they go to any center, they want to see people looks like them. They did create. They make us feel welcome anytime when they have events. And I want to say thank you, and we will continue to build on the way we start. That is the promise, all of us, that we have responsibility. And I want to say thank you. Please stay behind for Iftar. And also we have 2 more Wednesdays. Please come and share a meal with us. And I want to say thank you everyone who showed up. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Soraya, for your ongoing commitment to the community and partnership and to holding us accountable. We can't be good at what we do and be community builders without residents and community to speak with and get feedback from. So that's very important. And I want to just touch on what Soraya shared about phase 4 and 5. While we're also disappointed, all of us at Daniels, that we won't be continuing on, we remain steadfastly committed to this community. And today's announcements go well beyond the building of a single building to ongoing programming and opportunities for engagement with this community. That's why we're particularly excited about them, because they're not one-time sort of announcements. These are ongoing relationships, and we look forward to continuing to build new ones while we build on these. A few thank yous. A big thank you to Soraya and the Regent Park Catering Collective for all of their efforts in organizing and preparing the delicious, what I know will be delicious food that we'll all enjoy later this evening. A thank you to Artscape and the Center for Social Innovation for making this great space available for us this evening. Also, a special shout out to Mythology Floral Art, Natalie, for providing such beautiful arrangements for us. We connected with Natalie through Artscape Atelier as we continue to look for opportunities to socially procure in the arts and beyond. Another special shout out is to Mary's Brigdiero for the special chocolate treats that will follow dinner. Mary's Brigdiero is a Black woman-led business with a mission of realizing Mary's dream of sharing moments of happiness, joy, and fun through her chocolate creations with the rest of the world through Canada's vast multicultural influence. A thank you to Yassine Osman, our photographer for this evening. Yassine is an incredibly talented photographer and also community developer with his work through Shoot for Peace. So really amazing to have Yassine with us this evening. A personal thank you from me to our Daniels team for organizing tonight's event and getting everyone out. So way to go, Daniels team. And a special thank you to the artists that will be performing this evening while we wait for the sun to set and break our fast together. We have a special treat in store, spoken word performances by some of Toronto's most dynamic artists. Thank you, Nadine Williams, Southside Santana, and Spoken by T for the spoken word performances we're all about to enjoy as we wait for the sun to set. After these performances at sundown, please join us to break bread together in honor of Iftar at Ada Slate Hall. And my thank you to each and every one of you for being here this evening. We'll all be here for the rest of the evening for any questions and feedback about the announcements today and any ideas you might have. So please approach me or anyone of the Daniels team, and we look forward to keeping the celebrations and good times going this evening as we break fast together. Thank you.
All right. I know I have all your attention, right? Up here, up here, up here, up here, up here. Awesome. Thank you. We're not just some afterthought. Can I tell you? We are going to bring it. So I have all your ears. Yeah? Yeah. Awesome. All right. So in telling you a little bit about myself, I am hoping to tell you about yourself as well. And I'll start by sharing, I am the immigrant child, born and bred on the fingers of bananas, backs of chickens, hearts of breadfruits, livers, tripes, and kidneys of cows. The immigrant child whose forefathers hoarded their monies to ensure that on September mornings, there would be no bawling, since I, like the rest, could stand with the best and big up my chest and proudly tell the teachers good morning. Yes, I am the immigrant child whose very large family shared 2 bedrooms and 1 veranda, who fumbled with bottle torches at nights to find the toilets. And though I may reside in 4 and 5 bedroom houses with en-suites attached, you know, there was a time when I had roofs that were thatched and patched to keep the waters at bay. Hey, 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 hear me when I say, I am the immigrant child who has embarked upon a land of promise, a land foretold many years ago, a land where milk and honey flows. The immigrant child whose migration and subsequent integration has made me a proud Canadian, entitled to all that the shores of Nova Scotia, Manitoba, British Columbia, Newfoundland, and Labrador has in store. As much sap as my tongue can lap from the bark of the maple trees, while mastering as many degrees as my tuition fees deems feasible. I am the immigrant child, destined to fulfill the goodwill of those that sent me, those who themselves knew not this land of promise. I am the immigrant child, destined to fulfill the goodwill of those that sent me, those who themselves knew not this land of promise. I am the immigrant child, born and bred on the fingers of bananas, backs of chickens, hearts of breadfruits, livers, tripes, and kidneys of cows. And I am the immigrant child who will die humbly holding dear the heart of the breadfruit, the immigrant child. The immigrant child forms the immigrant trilogy. Because of the popularity of it, I couldn't stop, so I kept going. So I have the immigrant child, the immigrant's child, and the refugee's child, which is so appropriate in these days. But I'm going to share the immigrant's child. So I'm an immigrant child, that's my story. And of course, my children, and perhaps some of your children, some of you are immigrant's child. I am the immigrant's child, born into a community of immigrants, navigating a strange terrain dotted with poverty stain, amidst much disdain, wearing the family's name, cautioned not to bring it shame, rising like the sun in the Serengeti at dawn and setting the table for a plate of spaghetti at dusk, working from sun up to sundown to repeal this reel while fighting pigmentation myths in the midst. Here's the deal. I am cramming to pack it all in since deciding to be more than just mere looks by generously indulging in these books. Breaking down systemic barriers, jumping through hoops, to be good at more than just shooting hoops, more than just finding loopholes, peering through these peepholes, wondering what people's lives are like on the other side, the side where sweet potato fries replaces home fries and the choice of green sides are multiplied, where winding driveways drives a wave of awe and wonderment at the immensity of those basement bashments. I am the unabashed immigrant's child, born into a community of immigrants, determined to swat the lies and watch them drop like flies, because I will not a statistic make, but will instead strive and thrive with much drive and pride in my stride to make history instead. Though my strained terrain dotted with poverty stain causes many to go astray and to be looked upon with much disdain, it will never be a deterrent for the greatness that lies within me, within us. For I will arise, we will arise, and realize the potential of an immigrant's child. Hold up on the applause so I can utilize my 12 minutes, thank you. That's supposed to be a joke. Do I hear you laughing? All right. Motion. Standing water will never make its way into a stream. It's in motion that we stand a chance to make it to the ocean, creating a commotion when putting rivers in spate, moving boulders where they once comfortably sat, commanding respect as it moves along a riverbed. It's not how fast it rushes downstream one must glean, but that it's in motion. Stagnation does not stand a chance, but thirsty nations do quench their thirst when the river bursts. Doing is winning. Pace yourselves. Some days it's a sprint, while on others, It's a marathon. The world might not always cheer you on. So do not be afraid to be your very own cheerleader. The fact that you're in the space puts you in the place, the fact that you're in the race puts you in the space to be placed. Everyone among us wants first place, everyone. But first, you must get in the race. Your thirst will do the rest and bring out your personal best. If that means placing last, it's not just for laughs. It's your warm-up, your practice run, and your name will be running on tongues for days. We'll leave the world dazed when you beat the record holder. Remember this one thing, and don't you ever forget. In the stands, you're just a mere spectator. In the race, first or last, you are spectacular. So get in the race. Run at your own pace, for doing is winning. And can I tell you, winning is doing personified. Hold your applause, because I've got this nice piece right here that I just wrote. Throughout Black History Month, there are different themes that I was asked to speak on, and Black Futures is one of them. And this particular piece right here, High Rise, I have great plans for High Rise. High Rise is gonna get me my own house, can I tell you? High Rise. Black futures are high rises we build looking back at high-res pics from the blacks who built. We have stellar pics of blueprints and must hold them dear to our hearts. My dears, they are the armor against fingerprints and holding cells facilitated by our women and men in blue. Our cells, derived from the DNA of our ancestors, cry out for us to be ourselves while exuding the black joy that comes when we glimpse our bright black futures. The path to million-dollar listings on the bridal path and sweet penthouse suites requires a glimpse of the past every now and then. It is there where we see clearly the need to deconstruct the notion of fast lives and fast cash and reconstruct our minds, cashing in at will on our brilliant black futures. With walls shored up, utilizing the various skills found in trades or through higher education and innovation. Sure enough, no matter our pigmentation, our structures can and will rise. It does take time. Even if your preference is a low rise, I tell you no lies. For your building to stand the test of time, take your time to meticulously build. Lend your skills to those in need. Borrow and return tools when the need arises. Each time you rise, whether from rest or a fall, be it in summer, winter, or fall, whenever the build gets arduous, as it inevitably will, take a glimpse at the high-res pics from the blacks who built our brilliant black futures. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nadine, for keeping our energy going as the hunger really sets in this last half hour. Southside Santana, can we get you up here, please?
Hello, everyone. So I go by the name of Southside Santana. I'm a poet, spoken word artist. Just gonna give you guys like a quick, brief explanation on like what my art and what my work is about. It's really just me depicting pictures and telling stories about how I grew up in a low-income environment, and how not only me and a lot of my peers had to experience a lot of struggle growing up like where we were. And also just me using my poetry as an outlet, as self-expression, because I feel like growing up I never really had that. And me doing poetry and when I started doing it, the more I kept doing it, I started to slowly fall in love with it. And every time I hit the stage, it's like I fall in love with it all over again. That being said, I got a few poems for you guys that I would like to share with you. This first one goes by the name of Southside Story. I'm gonna give you guys just like a quick trigger warning for this one because it is kind of vivid, kind of graphic. I don't like to ramble too much, so I'm gonna get straight into this one. I wake up and wipe the corner of my eyes. First thing I think about is my girl, Nina. I know my life is a gamble, so I know it's kill or be killed. So when I say I ride for the guys, just know that I mean it. He put a K beside the gang, cool. Just hope I won't miss. I ain't scared, he ain't got one hard bone in his body, just like a jellyfish. So now I reflect on everyone that said they don't rock with me or the gang, and I make a list. So when I put him in a sky, now he really be sun-kissed. But they shot back, and now my brother dead. So now it really won't end. And so now the Nina pushed back when I let my shots bust. I put some soap in my clip and I leave him with bubble guts. But there was a witness. His mama right there praying that I ain't killed him. She got the cops on speed dial, cause she know how this life go. And now his cousin in the back trying to bake me like Mike Crow. At this point, I cannot and will not fold. My sinus is acting up because these streets is real cold, man. I gotta shoot back just to see myself grow old. Woo, flashing the sirens all in my rear view. Time to think critically. Do I finish what's on my plate or flee with an empty stomach? Crody, they just killed your brother, so now you gotta punish. I throw a handful of shots at him. Body hit the pavement. Fear struck my heart because I know his mama's gonna say something. Freeze, coming from the po-po from all directions. Now I'm sitting in the back thinking I should have just left him. What's that? Double homie, illegal gun, fingerprints tracing to every crime I've ever done. This leads to my incarceration. So much evidence, the police ain't got no implications. My younger brother in the hood looking up to me. Now he might be another shooter in the making. So now it's just me, my cell, and the silence. But God, how could you blame me? I'm just a product of my environment. Thank you. So really, what that piece was about is just like, I wrote a hypothetical story, but in reality, in real life, it's a true reality for a lot of us, and how it just shedding light on how easy it could be to one bad decision could really just ruin your life or steer you in the wrong direction. I got another one for you guys. This one is more just me trying to be creative, me playing with my pen, me really just trying to find my style as well. I'm gonna get right into this one as well. This one goes by the name of Verbal Two-Step. As my words dance around the mic, I might just mic check a 1-2 punch that's a silent knockout as I'm killing you softly. I'm still rolling through the south side thinking that I might die just from walking down the corner. They say the good die young, so I guess I sin too much. I'm only 18, but I didn't know that this was my ice age because my heart turned iceberg, so I guess I don't feel too much. They want us 6 feet under to become dirt kids, even though we was already dirt poor. It's a hood struggle. You gotta make a break, or you gonna crack like an Eglinton Road. It's a hood struggle. Everybody hungry, but ain't nobody feeding their soul. That's how it go. So now I gotta keep grinding. Cause at this poet stuff, I feel like I'm the top gunner. Umbrella for the hot summer. I'm blocking out the shade. When I brought the fake to the light, they still went dark on us. And I can see right through that stuff. See, you gotta put X to raise images. Imagine being in a room with all fakes. I call that a masquerade. But I love speaking positivity. I feel like a loudmouth. So whatever I put in the air goes up and must come down south. This next piece is really just me talking about a lot of the gang violence that goes on in the city, a lot of the violence that plagues the city, and me just trying to paint a picture and do it in my own way, the only way that I know how. This one is called Washington, D.C. This stuff amazed me, because to them a hood story is always a good story. When we got a hood mentality, it leads to a hood fatality. Road killers, they do drive-bys. It don't matter if the person was with it or not. They say check the scoreboard. But how you scoring if you shooting at the wrong net? He was shooting in the hot summer like he was trying to get a scholarship. He just copped a dirty stick. They might have to wash that ting like DC cause they gon' slide like a PowerPoint. But if I see the Jakes, I go Stevie Wonder. And guys be popping beans like they Jack now. And guys just study me like it's class now. Put my bag down just to get back in it. See, I can go punchline for punchline, leaving you wanting more. These guys bring their mops everywhere. They going on a janitor, man, my pen be going crazy. Put inside an asylum. My brain lost its passport, so I can't tell you what my mind's been. I ain't become a trapper, gun clapper, still a product in my environment. Quiet when you down bad, but when you start shining, you wonder where all the silence went. Me and my guys trying to get out the mud. So I gotta keep my composure so I don't freeze up in the quicksand. This flow is bombarding. I'm an artist that go hard in the paint. There's 3 seconds in the key. Tell me if you really feel this, cause I put my scars on the kitchen table and wear my heart on my sleeve. A one-on-one with someone, but it's really easy for me to have that one-on-one with like a piece of paper and a pen. But that being said, I'm gonna get straight into this one. This one is called Ghetto Poetry. Rather count my blessings before I count on you guys. Don't tell me what you will be, tell me what you are now. Room full of Southside guys and I still feel lonely. What that mean? I don't know. But back to the topic. Girls, money, I'm the stuff, oh yeah, I'm reminded. Shout out to Cole. Younger me wanted to be just like him. Fast forward 10 days in the vacant. There's some stuff I never want to do again. I'd rather pick up a pen and get it the harder way. I still feel for my guys, this mindset that is stuck in the hood. Crow telling me he got a magic stick, don't need to twirl it around to make you vanish like poof. Proof is in the progress, shout out to you. You probably hate me, just know that I loved you. We can never fix that bond though, cause I know what you did in that condo. Enough of that stuff though. You guys don't spit like this, I ain't talking envelopes. I stay true to myself, don't rock with the snitching, cause I know I could never take that stand like a trophy. Guys think they know me. Gotta stay militant, cause even in a Jesus piece, you could still get left holy. And guys be sending shots like espresso, sitting in the hood all day, getting high like hello. All these guys is squares, shaped up like a lineup. Got me talking about these girls that attend, have me thinking I should go and get my dimes up. If you got a white tee, they trying to change the color like it's tie-dye. And every time I see a whip pull up too fast, I'm thinking that I might die. So I got one last piece for you guys. This one is, I would say, probably my favorite piece that I ever wrote. Probably a staple of how my work really represents me as well as an artist. I don't like to ramble too much, so I'm gonna get right into this one as well. This one is called Rainy Day. Man, the South Jane gritty. So he just wanna smoke the pain away, stack the paper, but save the drip for a rainy day. Trappers tired of the crack pot and watching out for the stash spot. Growing up, we never had a lot, so I aim for the moon. I'm just clearing out my landing spot. Dance around my name, swear I'll be verbal homicide. I'm sending shots, not a gun clapper, but they still give me round of applause. My brain is abroad. These words will bully your mental. Man, mine too, my guys carry the lead, I carry the pencil. We grew up with fast money and violence. When you stack it so quick, why ask if the manager is hiring? Hearing about bodies dropping every day, that stuff make us cranky. Might as well tat some teardrops on our faces. I can't get complacent with living in the hood and fast dollars, it don't make sense. Growing up, we had dreams of being athletes. I still stack up the stat sheet in ways you can't match me. Late to all my classes, well, how could I keep it classy? But I gotta keep in mind that the block could get wet up at any moment without the super soakers. Southside soldier, so you gotta stand tall even if they aiming at your mata, cause their goal is to leave you broken like it's patois. These guys is ruthless, like they playing softball, they wanna put you on a tee. They just do it, so they bring the vapor to the max. Everybody wanna be on top like a beanie, no seagull. But I got the bird's eye vision. You gonna be left with scabs still tripping on me. My bar's still snapping. He Denzel Washington playing roles. He just a man acting, hands clapping, bad action when I touch the mic. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for your time. You guys can find me on Instagram at Southside Santana _. Thank you guys again.
Thank you, Southside Santana. What a way to show us tonight the real power of the arts in sort of communicating what we're feeling, what we're facing, and what we can do as individuals and as community. So thank you for that. Spoken by T. Please join me welcoming Spoken by T to the stage.
Hello, how are y'all? You okay? How are you? How are you? You guys are good? Yeah? Okay. I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie. Every time I perform, it's like I perform for the first time, I get all nervous and whatever. But thank you for having me. It's kind of dope that this is for Daniels, because just a little background with the relationship I have with Daniels Corporation. I grew up in a basement apartment, so Daniels was the first crib I was in that had stairs, and like me and my stepsister, my stepdad actually surprised us on April Fool's Day. He's like, we're gonna go and visit my friend. We pulled up to the crib, and he's like, actually, we live here now, and we're like, what? We have stairs? Like, that's insane. So it's honestly pretty cool that like full circle moment for me kind of thing. I'm gonna do 3 poems, I think, for you. The first one is kind of about what I've been through in a nutshell, since Daniels is part of my origin story. So I'm just go ahead. Okay. She doesn't even know her own name. Unable to explain the origin because it isn't the same as those from a Bible. This is just another way of proving that her father is unreliable because he gives so much that he could never receive. Paint stones on bodies, creating saltwater streams, making promises that he knew he could never keep. But this is where I come from. I come from the constant conflict, complicating family dinner settings because I'm the only one who needs the phonetics when others sing this language like it's bred from genetics. I come from a room that could never keep the sound out. Like Trump's Twitter feed, there was always something being talked about. I come from a segregated household. By volume, not race, by the most fearful face, by the secretive case. I am a secretive case. I come from a place where loud tones are normal, where not knowing where you fit was as common as being formal at a wedding. My parents don't own weddings. The only love she was getting was from her baby girl crying when she found out she was dying mentally and emotionally. Most encounter suicidal thoughts internally, but the exposure she was exposed to was hidden inside the walls of the apartment. Fall from the scene, she pushes away, forcing herself not to believe that if her work break was 15 minutes late, she would have contributed to her own mother's fate, coming home each day, fixing her own mother's plate, ensuring a nutritious lifestyle, something she can create. She comes from a place where the only concrete possession is faith. Not necessarily religious, because that's not how she was raised, but constant faith that things will be okay. That if someone doesn't return, it means that they're meant to be away. She comes from a broken home, broken nose by the cracks of saltwater rivers that were constantly served, broken sentences that were never really heard. She was never really heard. Poetry ensures that she's heard. She learned about the isms more than the 3 R's. Her R's are seen differently through broken eyes, literally reduce the feelings, reuse the plate, recycle the words because they will never hear her the first time at this rate. She doesn't know who she is yet, which is why I keep switching perspective. Her family unit was never one that's connected, just the strongest person by force was elected to speak their truth without anyone else needing to intervene, because although things weren't always as they seem, this is where her home would be. And I know I'm not the only one. This is for those who feel like shadows in a place with no light. For those who know fright before knowing how to fly a kite, we all come from splintered frames and flooded basements, craving embracements, moving to avoid misplacement. A bunch of kids lost in the mirrors, trying to figure out where their face is. Just a whole bunch of kids refusing to let go. Just a whole bunch of kids who will never truly know what the third little pig knew about fixing a broken home. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not gonna lie, like my hands shake every time I do that one. Whew, okay, that was the hard part, so that's over. Okay, so this next one is called Your Door. And I was actually thinking about it when I was in the audience of what I was gonna perform based off of like what was going on and what y'all were talking about. And Your Door is more about the transition of culture and kind of learning, or not learning, but experiencing, seeing ourselves in media, in modern media more often. So that's what this is about. Jesus is at your door. But instead, this time he's wearing a do-rag because he just got a fresh braid up and greets you through the cracks with a lighthearted, "Sup?" cracking a smile as he laughs, breaking the rough, tough look, giving off the soft pulp cover book, and only because of this will you not turn your handle. Will you turn him away because his voice was just too much to handle? But I guess that's the best thing that's ever happened to him, because you just taught Jesus how to finally define a sin. The separation. The separating by definition is to keep apart or divided by an intervening barrier or space. Not ridicule the girls with cornrows, but then throw them back in their face, because when they go through the pain, the cries, the millions of tears in their eyes, to pat in their hair, so you can't tell that it's there, is considered wrong, unprofessional, demoralized to a lie, something worthy as a confessional, but when it's worn on a lighter head with a scalp not too ready, it's labeled as nothing other than a trend. When youth are being shot for reaching for their ID, but those are ID worth millions are constantly begged to be seen, when our music has been pushed aside, but recently been brought back to light because it's been blended with a style unlike its own kind, because it couldn't be appreciated for being its own kind. To separate and to combine are the opposite, let me remind, because as much as it seems like things are wrong on our side, you sure are trying your hardest to climb over the divide, the divide. It's made out of longer punishments in prison because of the pigment she's been given, but she's been released early for good behavior. You're trying to rock climb your way through expectations you set with rocks labeled with, if you're dark, you don't get what we get. But as you took your next ignorant step, those rocks shot down faster than the bullets you shot into their heads. You remember that you forgot to tighten the straps around your belt, and instantly you are filled with regret. Those straps made out of you were wrong about us, and watch our capabilities created in factories where our culture has in much importance as your batteries, because without it, we would have no power. It allows us to feel empowered to see you as cowards, because you can't do anything other than hide behind our treasured flowers and skip beats. We don't gloat. But this all helps us promote our own growth. Growth. It's the young black boy who can point at a movie poster and see himself in it. It's the young black girl who can go to the toy store and pick out a Barbie that's just like her. It's the idea that dark fathers hold that title, own that title intentionally. It's the public shaming or the racist blaming. I don't know what it is, but it's the idea that dark men can't wear their hoods up past 10 p.m. It's the understanding that there's something wrong with that dress code, with that curfew, with that stigma. It's the work put towards ending this stigma. Jesus has knocked more than once now. You still refuse to let him in. The neighbors next door, however, are curious of what he may bring. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, like I have one that I'm definitely gonna do, and then I had one that I wrote earlier today on my way here. I've been fighting myself because I really wanna show y'all, but like I have to read it off my phone because I really wrote it today. Is that okay with you? Yeah? It was like a writing challenge with some of me and my artist friends, and they're like, we'll write about this, and I'm like, all right, and they thought I couldn't do it, and then I did it, and they like it, and now I like it enough to perform it. So this is exclusive. No one's ever heard this other than the people that was in the room before this. So I hope y'all like it. I always knew what I was meant to do. As my shape was carved out, every line, every move, you see, when you're given a purpose, you never think it through. It's never second guess, two guesses, giving up life lessons, knowing your existence is already intended for an impact, even if you lack the skill, you're intact with material, keeping it real about who I'm supposed to be. Even without the resources needed, I'm expected to remain free within the mindset of sound. With no volume in my voice, I've been created to make music, make moments, make noise. In a world with expectations without failure expected, it's been impossible to communicate without being disrespected, since I'm different than the other, supposed to be marrying two lovers, but I'm silenced by the covers of distant mistaken brothers, mothers, fathers, some sons, who value communication but can never come from, in which a place this wasn't available to them. I'm still trying to decipher what this means between friends who have the resources that I was never provided. To excel in the same world, my purpose is already decided. I'm trying to decide if this is where I become divided. Silenced by the hands of ones it cannot control, an item with much purpose similar to J. Cole awakens from a world with instruction guides handy. It must be tragic to be this valuable with no sugar, healthy candy, silent sound, light pounds, creating beats in its head. Knowing it'll never be heard, it's turned into a ghost by the community it belongs in. While working tirelessly to create use from a purpose, cutting loose from the surface, diving deep, living perfect in its mind and mine only, knowing no one will see it and desire it wholeheartedly. The reality is lethal, cutting into the reality of the people, knowing you'll never be seen as equal, treated and defined perfect by the people. I'm the people. I'm curious about where to start. I've always wanted a new hobby, but I never knew which part to play in the field of musical talent. I mean, I can tune, write a track, but I want to do more than just that. As my family always thought I wasn't going to end up fast in this speedy-ass world. I've taken time, ignored rhythms written to make toes curl, written to make minds ache, to diminish my ability to make the room shake. My culture had my story written before I existed. So I always knew that when I got the chance, I'd rewrite and redact to show my capabilities too. Since I didn't have a lot, but I always made do. So when I walked into the local thrift store, my decision was made as I seen a guitar with no strings collecting dust just the same. I seen myself in that creation, knowing I've been collecting dust since I've been placed in earth in a world that didn't expect someone like me. I paid in cash, asked no questions, and left to create a destiny. Thank you. Y'all like it for real? I'm gonna tune it up. I'm gonna figure it out. Thank you. So I'm gonna do one last one and then I'll get out. This one, I was bouncing back and forth if I wanted to do something about women empowerment or if I wanted to do something about like being biracial and figuring that out. I think I want to talk about being biracial and figuring that out. So because a lot of the conversation today with Daniels and the programs that are being put on is about artists and seeing yourselves in the room. And this is something that, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can resonate with this. Every time, no matter what kind of room it is, classroom, workspace, whatever it is, the first thing I do is like, who here looks like me? And depending on that, I'm not gonna lie, it does impact how I act and it impacts how I feel. So this last one is about being biracial and figuring that out. Okay. Back then, I was Black. Now, I am mixed. But to some, I'm not worthy of a colored skin twist because I'm lighter than some. Hair textured differently, loose curls froze elegantly, nicely over my cheekbones, princessy vibes, eliminating me from connected culture ties, cause this look, this shade, this hair, and this place makes me not one of the some that are marginalized, but because my parents kissed, I now deserve to be dissed by kind that is like me, you see, because I'm not dark enough to be pulled over at first glance. Hands up. Widen stance, I am Caucasian or ethnic without any chance to prove my ethnicity. The hypocrisy sent towards me, kind that only knows suppression shouldn't suppress one of them. Half of them. Excluded from a group I feel for intensely. Eliminated from a room not with voices, but I see, I spy, she's not as dark as me. I see, who's this Black girl wanna be? Wanna see what it's like to be stuck in the middle? Misunderstood by those that should understand you. Learn to understand you, but they don't even learn to understand me, thinking ignoring the difference will eliminate the difference, glazing over elephants, permanent residents in my household. Minimal explanation may lead to complications, but will solidify the simple adaptations now. It was never spoken about until now. It's still not even spoken about even now, but it's like they say, if you pretend it's not there, eventually never be there, right? If I close my eyes, you can't see me, right? If you open your eyes, you won't see me, just fright of misplacement, understatement. I mean, I'm targeted with raised eyebrows after a fresh braid up. Well, there are people in beauty pageants trying to look like me without even trying to learn about my history. They can wash off the spray paint, go back to their own homes. Clear tone is their map, always leading them to go, but they will never know the feeling of displacement in their own home. Own streets, own school, no seat, has turned question, asked, what's your background? Think fast. Be short and sweet, expect follow-ups. What's this mean? But your hair is not fair, constantly justifying my genetics. There is no modification, it's pathetic. I look ethnic, yeah, okay. Tell me something I don't know about your day. Ask about mine, I've got more to say. Want me for my words, not my face, not my light skin privileges, what they want to call it, not my long hair, shouldn't care when the rest want to question it, when the rest express their jealousness, use it as leverage to limit my Blackness, like, yeah, okay, I get it. I don't know the naughty hair development from 3-hour naps, but I do know displacement, uncomfortable replacement, because now I'm light skinned. 70 years ago, I was forbidden. Now I'm apparently the next hottest thing. Thank you. Thank y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you again for your time, for your patience, for paying attention, listening to what I had to say. You can find me on Instagram. That's where most of my stuff is at. It's Spoken by T, just as it sounds, Spoken by T, just the letter, nothing after that, not like the drink, anything like that. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I'm gonna get out your hair. Thank you.
Thank you, Spoken by T. What a great round of performances. Just one more round for Nadine Williams, Southside Santana, and Spoken by T. Way to show us the importance of giving arts a platform and an opportunity, a lot of what we talked about today. By my watch, we're about 18 minutes from Iftar, is that right? So we can get up, stretch our legs, and we're going to eat soon. Thank you, everyone, again, for your patience and for being here and sharing this evening with us.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all of our social media platforms. For more information, check out our website.
Thank you.